jury less than half an hour to find a former pastor guilty of trying to influence a jury.
The father of 8 was arrested while handing out literature telling jurors they didn't have to follow the law. But this jury did. Barton Dieters was in court all day and brings us this report.
It's a case where the defense hoped to put this northern Michigan justice system on trial. And over the course of 2 days, a judge, court employees, and jurors did take the stand. But in the end, it was the defendant, Keith Wood, who now faces time behind bars.
This is a serious implication on free speech rights, I believe.
The brochure in question was handed out in November of 2015 and told of the controversial proposition that jurors can rule according to their own sense of justice, regardless of what the law or a judge says. But a judge's narrow ruling kept the jury focused on whether the 39-year-old was trying to sway a jury in the trial of a local Amish landowner.
Verdict is guilty of attempting to influence a juror.
Wood's Lansing-based attorney David Kallman argues his client was on a public sidewalk exercising his First Amendment rights. Today, Wood took the stand in his own defense.
Did you willfully attempt to influence any jurors in the Yoder trial?
Absolutely not. You did not hand out those pamphlets in a public forum any day before November 24th. I didn't.
Wood had to admit that he knew the trial was scheduled for that day, but said he did not know who the jurors were. The defense was not allowed to talk about the nature of Wood's arrest or the 12 hours he spent in jail before maxing out his credit cards to pay a $150,000 bond.
I understand they don't like it. But you know what? In our country, again, we can still speak freely. At least I think we can.
It was very clear that the government did not meet their burden to restrict my free speech on that public sidewalk that day. It was very clear.
The former pastor turned insurance agent faces sentencing July 21st. He and his attorney say there are plenty of issues here for an appeal. In Big Rapids, Barton Dieters, 24-hour News 8.
Jail time for a man in Mecosta County convicted of jury tampering after passing out flyers on a public sidewalk in the front of the courthouse. It's a case that Fox 17's Dana Chiklis broke that gained national attention regarding its impact on free speech rights. Dana's here in studio now with a closer look at Keith Wood's sentencing this morning. Dana.
Right, Janice, we've been following this case since day one. When Keith Wood, he was first charged, he exclusively spoke to us on camera saying he never thought he was breaking the law, just educating the public on jury rights. Some believe the pamphlets he handed out are controversial. Others argue it's his First Amendment right. But the court only focused on jury tampering in his trial, not free speech. And today, as his attorney appeals his case, Wood went to jail.
Keith Wood with his wife and his 8 young children moments before his sentencing.
He is going straight to jail today.
Ending in handcuffs. In June, a jury convicted Wood of the 1-year misdemeanor jury tampering.
Our defense is a First Amendment defense.
It started November 2015, Wood passing out pamphlets on jury rights, including a juror's right to vote their conscience, standing on this public sidewalk outside the Mecosta County Courthouse. It was the day of a trial Wood testified he was interested in, though he says he believed no trial would happen. And in fact, unknown to Wood's jury, no jury was ever seated in that unrelated November case. Before he was sentenced to 8 weekends to jail, 6 months probation and fines, the prosecutor argues despite Wood's clean record, he knew what he was doing was wrong.
This was not a person who made a one-time mistake. And then he hasn't demonstrated that he's kind of shown that he realizes now the significance of what he's done. In fact, the testimony shows the contrary.
Following the prosecutor's push for 45 days in jail, the defense argues Wood was only trying to educate the public. Jail time, let alone the conviction, violates free speech.
He exercised what he believes are his free speech rights, did it out on the sidewalk before this court, and that because of that deserves 45 days in jail, let alone 1 day in jail. I totally disagree with that.
Adding jail time for this first-time offender, a father of 8, who's the sole financial supporter of his family, would put them on welfare.
And if this court were to put my client in jail for something like this, for 45 days, you're essentially sentencing him to losing his business, losing his source of income, and ability to care for his family over handing out a flyer.
The prosecutor denied Fox 17 an interview, but says Judge Kimberly Booher's sentencing is reasonable, as well as her denying the defense's motion to stay Wood's sentence pending appeal. As for the defense, jail time for a first-time offender and misdemeanor case is unprecedented. He's now appealing on First Amendment grounds.
It was an informational pamphlet. You can disagree with what's in the pamphlet, but that's what free speech is all about. And I see a trend in our culture, in our society, of squelching free speech. If you don't like what somebody is saying, squelch them. I guess we'll see what the higher courts say.
So many twists and turns in this case. We saw it through. We were just there this morning for the sentencing. So what's happening now is the appeal process. And I've been in touch with David Kallman, that's Keith Wood's attorney, and just within the hour he was still waiting in court. He's trying to get an emergency hearing and appeal this verdict and case overall with the circuit court in Mecosta County. Another judge, I was told, in that county just recused himself, didn't want to hear the appeal. So he's waiting, and if necessary, it'll go to the Michigan Court of Appeals. So a lot still to come in this case. Another reason why the prosecutor said he wasn't ready to talk on camera about it.
Wow. I mean, a lot of people might be surprised he got jail time for passing out pamphlets, but I mean, his family is really impacted by this. 8 children. 8 children.
You saw them all sitting behind them in court today. I was talking to the mom, you know, Keith Wood's wife, after this, holding her infant 4 or 5-month-old baby, and she was just in shock. You know, she wasn't ready to talk on camera either, but she did tell me, you know, I just feel like a zombie. I'm trying to process this. It's just unbelievable. And so still some more to come in this case. If the Court of Appeals hears this case, if it gets that far, this could set precedent. So we'll continue to follow it and keep everybody updated.
All right, big one. Dana, thanks for the update here today. The man who was reported missing earlier this week.
Man sentenced to jail time for passing out pamphlets outside courthouse. Posted 9:18 a.m., July 21, 2017, by Dana Sheik Class, updated at 3:59 p.m., July 21, 2017. Big Rapids, Michigan. A man convicted of jury tampering, after passing out pamphlets on a sidewalk in front of the Mecosta County Courthouse, was sentenced to 8 weekends in jail and 6 months of probation plus fines. Last month, a jury of 6 found Keith Wood guilty, convicting him of attempting to influence a jury in Mecosta County. Wood is a former pastor and father of 8 who was initially charged with a 5-year felony for obstructing justice and the 1-year misdemeanor jury tampering. Friday, the prosecution advocated 45 days in jail plus fines, but the defense said jail time is inappropriate for Wood. He has no prior criminal record, is self-employed and the sole financial supporter for his wife and 8 young children. District Judge Kimberly Booher said while she didn't believe 45 consecutive days in jail is appropriate, she said no jail was also inappropriate. He's going straight to jail today, said Judge Booher, before Wood was handcuffed and escorted out of the courtroom. Judge Booher sentenced Wood to 8 consecutive weekends in jail, with 120 hours of community service suspended if Wood completes 6 months probation. She also denied the defense's motion to stay Wood's sentence pending appeal, as the defense is appealing to the Mecosta County Circuit Court and then the Michigan Court of Appeals if necessary. During his trial, Wood testified that Mecosta County District Judge Peter Jakelvik ordered his arrest November 24, 2015, moments after Wood handed out about 50 juror rights pamphlets on the public sidewalk outside the courthouse. It's a case Fox 17's Dana Sheik Class broke in December 2015 that made national headlines. Wood's bond was set at $150,000. Then, his felony charge was dropped last March and he was on trial for attempting to influence a jury. Wood says he ordered the pamphlets from the Fully Informed Jury Association, which wrote about juror rights judges don't tell you. Specifically, the flyers discuss the debated jurors' right to vote their conscience or jury nullification. When Wood was first charged, he spoke exclusively on camera to Fox 17 and said, "I truly believe in my heart of hearts I didn't do anything wrong, I didn't break the law." After he was convicted in June, when Fox 17 asked how he feels his First Amendment rights were impacted, Wood answered, "Oh, I don't feel like I have them." Wood also testified he learned of the case against Andy Yoder, scheduled for trial the day of his arrest on November 24, 2015, through an email blast. He said he does not know Yoder, but was interested in the idea that the government had a say in someone's private property rights. In that case, Yoder was accused of violating the Department of Environmental Quality for draining a wetland that was on Yoder's property. When Wood learned of that case, he says he went to Yoder's pre-trial conference, then ordered the pamphlets and went to the courthouse the day Yoder's trial was scheduled. Yoder is an Amish man, and when asked by the jury, Wood testified he has no ties to the Amish community other than buying produce from them locally. Also, the day of Yoder's trial, when Wood passed out pamphlets, no jury was seated and Yoder took a plea deal. After Wood's trial, his defense attorney David Coleman told Fox 17 he would appeal his guilty verdict.
Hey, Sheriff, we have a question about why your office, your intelligence division, is investigating private citizens for criminal investigation that happen to be activists that are overseeing your department. Why would you have your intelligence division investigate private citizens? We have done...
for life hating so much.
Sir, we don't hate anyone. We love freedom and we love American people. And government is out of control. That's why you're seeing such a revolt nationwide. Why can't you just answer, why is Susan Edwards, your intelligence division, investigating private citizens? This should not happen.
Are you here to apply for a job?
Possibly I might be applying for a job, but that's irrelevant to my question. Why would you ask that question?
Well, enjoy the fair.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Excuse you?
Excuse me, sir.
So those of you that haven't
wow.
been on a bike before,
Sheriff's getting a little too pushy. You work for us, Sheriff. Just keep that in mind. At one time we respected you, but not with that type of attitude.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheep up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if some, if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if I got, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. 47,000 of you so far right now. $1 a day. $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head, help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.